Good day, everyone. It's Shay Seeking, and I'm here with a quick video. This one is just going to be like a quick, for real this time. I always say it, and it's not, but it will be. Um, just a little segment, okay, that I'm going to start doing with some of these definitions and other things. Um, this picture right here is of a woman, and it says the Indians of Brazil. There's another one going around with a woman with a slightly larger, kind of like afro. And I can't remember if it says Indians or Aborigines of Brazil. And I'm only showing you this picture today because I see that there's always still this continuous thing that goes on when it comes to what should we be calling ourselves. Well, some may say, let's just use this term because this is the earliest, or this is that, or let's stop using those terms because those terms were given to us by the colonizers, and blah, 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 and whatever you might say. Okay? There are those that are deep in the fact of they feel like they know all they need to know and what they need to know about law. I believe that somebody can be very thorough in their searching and in the answers that they find and the information that they give, but not thorough enough, because no matter what you do when it comes to the system that we're under, when it comes to any type of paperwork or any papers that, and I'm not trying to deter anyone from doing that. I'm just someone that's on the journey of the center of myself. And if that includes me changing my title or anything like that, then I will be pushed to do so, and that's what I'll do. So I just don't want the people that are not feeling like they have a necessary need to, because I feel like we all play a part in this thing. Some of us have one journey and others have another. Okay? I don't think that I know enough. And I don't think any one of us that are in the public domain know enough about the legalities of this to say that you have all gotten the answers right. And whatever forms and things that you're filling out, you know 100% that this is what you need to do, and that you even need to be doing any more dealings when it comes to any type of paperwork or information that you're going to be submitting to this corporation. Because regardless of the fact of you changing something, I feel like you're still submitting it to the same organization. And so you might see some slight differences in your lifestyle or changes and some slight powers that you have. But at the end of the day, they're not going to stop and ask for these papers. And even if they do, they can do whatever they want. They can change your, say we go back to a point in time where it's like, where's your papers? Like in Schindler's List or some kind of thing like this, okay? Um, one could take your papers and erase what you are and look at you and think that you're something else and put something else there. Okay, so in my eyes, that's fine for people. I applaud people that are at least trying, because that's their journey. Mine is a more centered journey. I already know what resonates in me, and that's fine. Okay, and I don't think that a paperwork or anything is going to happen with these people in the way they operate. I don't think wherever they try to pull with us, I don't really think that those particular things are going to matter. So, but there is something to these terms. Now, all of the terms, all of the books, including the Bible, were given to you by these said people. Okay? All of the terms and everything have been altered by these particular people. You will probably never get back to the original terms, and if you did, it wouldn't be in a language that you would be able to understand, overstand, or understand. Okay? So in my eyes, the battle is against what? Because all of these terms need to be brought forth, because we need to take said terms and use them around said times in order to get said information or truth. So everybody should be allowed to use these terms. Now, I understand. Maybe we should come up with something else that we want to call ourselves and just go ahead and go with that, instead of letting people like Jesse Jackson, these bogus leaders, determine these things for us. Maybe that's true, okay? But my whole thing is, how can you tell me, and these are some of the terms, these are not directed at anybody in particular, but these are some of the terms that are thrown out. Indian, Native American, Aboriginal, autochthons, or autochthonous, um, Negro, Black, African American, American Indian, Amerindian, Amarid. Um, I don't know them all. I'm just saying that the Tiano or whatever, um, these are the, and it's still a different way of or form of separation. Okay, but the term that I do look at more than any other one when it comes to trying to trace back to the originals of at least the Americas is Aboriginal. Now, I know that some people might mean that the ab means not, but I just want to clarify this for anyone else that might be looking at looking for the proper definition when it comes to etymology. Now, again, this is just the way that I'm interpreting it and looking at it. It's not the way that you have to. But I just like to come get my feelings out of it. I don't like to attach myself to any terms, and I like to be fair um, and not biased about my opinion. And I like to bring the information, even if it proves me wrong. So let's see. So this is the woman, okay? And then it was funny because I found this image and just because I didn't want to mislead anybody or anything, I went ahead and put in the term, well, I thought that they said Brazil. So I went ahead and put in the term, let's see. Okay, I can't see what it says that small. So this image or whatever is an image from like the 1600s, okay? And then I noticed this little fort has an A there, so I guess this little word right here is going to tell us what it is, but it's so small I can't see it in order to show you, okay? And then D, Mars, I don't know. And then B is Flavis, something is, and then Serpul. Okay, we're not even going to try. But I was just saying that this looks like something to me. The fact that these people have arrows with them, I feel like we're not talking about slaves. Okay? Again, this is around the 1700s, but just so we can get a depiction of what's going on here. Because these are what I would say would be the closest resemblance to an aborigine or original person of this continent. The Americas and her islands, and they were all over the place. Okay, darkness was on the face of the deep. Okay, I have an alternative way of looking at the Bible. Nobody can tell me it's the wrong way. I can tell you yours is the wrong way, but I'm just here to basically bring forth information and an alternative view for those who can dig it. So let's keep looking. So the fact that these people have arrows, I would doubt that they are slaves. That's one. Two, you have them talking to these guys, yeah, or whatever. I notice he has his little feather on his hat or whatever. They have muskets or guns or whatever. And then you have somebody over here doing something, and this guy carrying this thing, and I think this might be a sword right here. And somebody's trying to explain something, and then he's bowing down. This reminds me of that "Am I not a brother?" But I'm not sure. I'm just saying that image. You guys know if you've been researching that you've probably seen it before. But it looked like a huge book. It could be something else, but it looks like a very big, ugly big, not ugly, but a big nasty Bible. Like just in the size of it. And then there's some people here pointing out something, and he's like, "Hey, show me where it said." And he pointing his knife at him, and then his sword, and he's pointing like, "Look," And then these other people are around doing their thing, or maybe helping these people unload some stuff that they're going to be bringing here. Let me see. Looks like there's more folks coming in, and maybe this looks like a fight, or maybe he's going to give him a hug, or he's going to punch him. I don't know. But there's a fort here, okay? And maybe these people, now there's these guys closer to this, and most of the other people are over here. Now, did they leave this platform to come here to the water and do whatever they're doing, or is this the place where these people are staying, which also turned into the forts that they used in order to observe you and to shoot you down or whatnot? I don't know what these could have been. I guess we can look at this fort and try to see if we can find out more information about it. And then this is like French maybe flag, something that have something to do with that. And then these people are rowing and bringing these people in, and here's another group here, and yeah, it looks like they're definitely probably taking stuff off and bringing it over to the shore. So I just wanted to show you that because we were talking about the Rio Grande, excuse me, area in Brazil. And I just wanted to show those images because I'm just trying to show you that that's more of a depiction of what I'm getting when I'm searching for this information of what the people might have originally looked like. So then we're going to go into the term Aboriginal. 1660s, okay? And then if you guys follow me on my YouTube channel, I'm going to say, are we in the sixth day? And you'll know what that means. We're talking about the sixth day from Genesis, because 1,000 years to God is one day to you. And if God is the government, then, or that establishment or anything that has to do with it, okay, then I'm just asking that question. So it says first, okay, earliest, existing from the beginning, especially in reference to inhabitants, okay? So let's go ahead and look at this word too, because people think we know the definitions and we really haven't done a thorough check of lands, okay? Now in the Bible, we're talking dry lands. These are the dry lands, and that's why we only really refer to the dry lands a couple of times, mainly probably in Genesis, because the dry lands, I believe, is a metaphor for the dry earth, the earth that had not been tilled, the earth that had not been reigned on by a leader or one that presides over, or a president or something of that nature. And I think the dry land is one that had not been broken into or flooded or seeded or irrigated by other foreign, okay, nations, okay? So, colonized by Europeans. Europeans, this has nothing to do with being prejudiced or anything. Europeans came in all different shades, just like, okay, they came in all different shades. There was some light skin and some dark skin. In the Americas, I believe that there were dark skinned people here, and there might have been some light skinned people, but a variation shades of brown, okay, or earthy tones before colonizers or anyone came here. That's just my belief. There could have been other people. I have read some of these books that were telling you that all the Indians in the Midwest, as we know it now, were darker when they thought that they would probably be lighter, but there were some that were more up north that were of a lighter, almost like white, and there were some that were darker in places that they didn't imagine, that almost resembled so-called Africans, okay? So again, they can come in all different tones, okay? And Europeans can include Africans in my eyes, okay? So it says from Aborigine, see Aborigine, the specific Australian census attested from 1820. So basically, I'm feeling like they're saying, it's been used since 1820 for the Australian people. The noun meaning, okay, so a noun is a person, place, or thing. I'm not too, I wasn't all in school like that, but I think that's what it means. So I'm just more of a soulful, spiritual kind of person, okay? And I don't like establishments, and I don't like structured learning, and I don't like a lot of things that we're under and we don't understand and we don't see that these things are the reasons why we've been brought to the level of not stupidity, because that would be mean, of ignorance, okay, that we're in this day. Generational ignorance, or one may say generational curses, because some people are perishing because of the lack of knowledge. And that's just a general term, okay? So the noun meaning, or an original inhabitant, an autochthon, is attested from 1760. So I'm thinking if they're saying attested, that it might have been used or brought forth from the 1760s, related to aboriginally, okay, all of these terms, okay? So we're going to look up this aborigine, a person. So we're talking about a person. And then we would have to take person and look at what person means in the Black's Law Dictionary, is what I'm feeling like, okay, in order to get a better understanding of what that means, okay? Animal or a plant that has been in a country or a region from the earliest times. Again, one may say that the ab means not, but I'm figuring it means removed, or once removed. You were the origine, or origin, maybe. See, because origin is in there, and that's just it. The origin is it, okay? The beginning, the earliest. And now when they say the first Indians or the first inhabitants, that can be kind of tricky, because we can also be talking about the first inhabitants in their mind, meaning their people that they planted here or seeded, or the yielding seed that came from them planting themselves into family trees of the Americas and coming and breeding with them, or buying themselves a $5 ticket or a way in order to deplace them. And that's where the ab comes from, because you're removed, okay, from that basic title. But should you not want to use that one? I don't know. So when we're talking about first inhabitants, it could be tricky, because it's in who I, just like me studying Genesis the way that I study it, you can't tell me anymore that had something to do with everybody. Genesis, I feel like it has something to do with colonization, and I think deeply that it has something to do with the colonization of the Americas. And when we're talking about Earth, we went into the concordance, and we found out that that Earth can also be used as inhabitant, or people. It can represent people when we're using Earth. So we know that this is true. So when you look at it that way and you reread Genesis, everything comes to life. Of course, at least it did for me. So when we're talking about in the beginning, there's no way you will get me to think that we're talking about when somebody was hanging up a sun in the sky and a moon in the sky. These are symbolic ways of describing something else, okay? But when we start talking about light and dark and separation and division, then I'm thinking we may be talking about something else, okay? And I know when we're talking about yielding seed and this seed and that seed and all this other stuff and these things that sprout from we're talking about creation of nations, of people, of natives, or those that are not of the blood of the American peoples, the originals, okay? So again, before we get too far off, especially of Latium, hence the first ancestors of Romans, possibly a tribal name, or made to conform the Latin phrase ab origine. And again, there is that separation there, which means literally from the beginning. And again, whose beginning? Are we talking about the beginning in the biblical form? Because I believe that, again, that was the beginning of the planting of seeds. We are not talking about plants in Genesis, in my eyes. We are definitely talking about rooting races and putting them into the earth in order for them to produce their own seed, and now that seed is in control. And you have been removed from being the original, and that would make you an ab original. It doesn't mean that you wasn't at first. It's just something else is in the place thereof, or something else has been put in front, such as that ab, okay? And such as a certain people, okay? So it said this is from ab, off, removed, away from, taken away from. okay? A rise, okay? Again, that could be the rise of the new nation. I don't know. The commencement, beginning, source, descent. Again, to descend is to be fallen away from, and to ascend would be opposite, probably, was what my thinking is saying. A lineage, again, you have been cut off from your lineage because someone else is there. Birth, again, like I was just saying with the whole term up there, being birthed into a nation or the birth of their nation. That is what we're talking about in the beginning. That is talking about certain people that come from the waters. When we're talking about the waters in Genesis 1 and 2, I feel strongly that we're talking about people that come from the waters, the immigrants, um, aliens, and other people that came from different places, okay? And once you get a structure of what you really think you're saying and you really seek for this, you won't be able to read the Bible the same way anymore. It might become your favorite book. The very book that you guys think they used to enslave you will be the very book that will free you if you change your perception when you're reading it. Somebody lied. Somebody hid 1,000 years. Somebody is hiding time from you. So when I say that the seventh day can just mean the 1700s in the Bible, that can actually maybe be true. Because if that is that 1,000 years, again, how we say the 17th century, but we're really talking about the 1600s. These are the kind of things I'm talking about, that time has been altered in a sense. When they changed the calendars, when they changed time, they altered something so that you would not be able to line these things up, okay? So it says this is from Ab, okay, we already read that. Birth from stem, okay, in the stem root. Again, when we're looking at that term, I believe in the book again, in the concordance, it's talking about a stem root or a prime or primitive root also. That's what the earth can also be speaking of, okay? So the origine will be compared to the archetype. If you search archetype here in the etymology, you will get a better understanding of what it's saying. So, be born, be descended, receive life. Again, they lived, you died. Because there is no such thing. Your lineage died, your heritage, your everything died. And so there's no really such thing as a black person, I don't think, or a white person for that matter, or a black person, or a African American. Those are just my opinions without being too like I'm talking to you about law, like I know everything about it. Okay? So, what was I going to say? To receive life. So then now the living creature, you see? So a creature is just something that was created. Now if you take these people and mix them together and come up with a new race, you've created something. So that is their creation. Be careful when you're reading into this stuff, because I really think it was, you were already here. So Genesis 1 didn't really have anything to do with you, but the fact that they were going to come in on you and intertwine, okay, or become one, okay? When we're talking about husbandmen and wives and all this other stuff, remember the order that things were going in with slavery, that's basically what your relationship, even a man with another man being his master, that was your Lord or your God or your Father, okay? They had ownership over you. I am the one that, it may not be this way in legalities, and that might be something important to find out, and that's why I'm saying I'm not knocking that whole thing, but my children belong to me, but I'm sure the way I have it on paper, because I've been misled and I don't know the proper way, I'm sure it may not state that, okay? It may state that they're still a ward of the state or of this corporation in some way, shape, or form. Okay? So, let's see. See origin. Extended 1789 to natives. See, again, so in 1789, what happened? You know what? In 1789, wait, no. Let me not get it wrong. 1775, no, I think it was 1789. I think that's when we received our first actual president, the George Washington president that we had here in the Americas. Now, there was already people that had some forms of like government here already, but I'm just saying that was the first one that they, have in there. Supposedly first president. Okay? So it says to natives, okay? It extended to natives. So now it was already belonging to someone, and now it extended to natives. And natives are not the original. They are just someone that is born in a place. They are connected to the land or the earth because they were born there or produced from the earth. And that could be the people that are original. So could some of these Native American tribes be in blood, have a blood connection to the original people? Yes, but they are not the original. The term that they are using today does not mean, it means that they are not the original. Okay? And that's the one that most of them are so-called said to prefer. They don't like Indian. Okay? But again, do they not like it, or does that term belong to someone else and they just staying clear of it? Okay? So let's see. Of other countries which Europeans have colonized. So that would mean America. So that means that they were not already there. They became that because the government made them that, in my eyes. Okay, and this is just freestyle and reading this. I haven't done any deep research. That's for you to do. I'm just bringing information. I'm not here to tell you what it is, what it ain't. I'm telling you what it looked like to me. So, Aboriginal inhabitants of Australia. Australian slang shortening abo. Okay. Um, okay. So let's just look up origin. Okay. So 1400. Are we in the fourth day? I'm not sure. Ancestry, race for Old French or origine, origin, race, and directly from Latin, whatever. A rise, commitments, beginning, source. Okay. Descent, lineage, birth, stem, arise, get up, appear above the horizon, become visible, be born, be descended, receive life. Again, when we're talking about life here, we may not be talking about your actual literal life. We may be talking about basically like how they said that the Lord God breathed air, the breath of life into, and he became a living being or creature. That is basically just saying that now he is among the living, but you had to die. So again, like that whole Christ story, that he had to die in order to let everybody else be free. Don't get it twisted. That's what the whole religious thing does. It brings us all together when there's definitely a separation, and it may not have nothing to do with your race. It is who you are, your lineage, who you are, the your origin, the origin that you're connected to, and the people, okay, of the land that has been stolen from those people. While everybody else is ascending when they come here, you continue to descend. Okay, so let's see, what else does it say? Come forth, take origin. So again, that what else could it mean if they took yours? Okay, so to proceed, to start. Okay, and then it says of rivers. And another thing that's funny about that image says something about the rivers that I just showed. And then it says rumors. So lift and raise. Okay, and what else do you do to your children? If the natives are children of God and God is the government, maybe that's why other people come here and they always rise above the original, because you've been knocked out of place and you're dead basically, and they're able to do it to you because they own you. Okay, so we're thinking more prisoners of war than actual slaves. Okay, so it says Armenian to rise. So that's where we are with that. And then I have one more for you guys, and I'm going to be getting out of here. Inhabitant. Okay, inhabitant, one who dwells in a place. Dwell or lives, okay, in a place, as distinguished from a visitor or a transient. Early 15th century, or maybe the 5th day, Anglo-French inhabitant, okay? Present participle of inhabiter, to dwell in, okay? Oriental, native, or these are just related terms or entries. Native or inhabitant of the East, Oriental. Inhabitant of the East. So the Oriental would be the inhabitant, and then the native is what would have sprung from the original inhabitants. So that's what they would call Oriental. So you can get a little bit better understanding when you look at it in these ways. What is this? A Britisher, a native or inhabitant of Great Britain. So then when we're talking about natives and inhabitants as well, a native would be somebody that is born in a place, but then you have your other ones that came from their mother and their father to cleave onto the wife. And the wife is just a gift, okay, in my eyes. When it comes to these voyagers and settlers and all the other pilgrims and all these other people that were brought over here, okay, they left their mother and father, okay, their mother and fatherland to come and plant themselves here, okay. Then you have natives. Slaves or Slavic people were brought over here as slaves or unwanted people. Then you have your natives, and those are the people that they bred with the original or something close to the original in order to create those offspring, okay. Offspring is another word that we use a lot here on this channel. And then when it comes to how they say what Mexicans are, Spaniards mixed with white, well, we're just using that term, Caucasian or European, and then mixed, and I say mixed with some kind of Asian something, okay? And then you have that race, and they say that, you know, Spaniards and so-called slaves created the Africans created Puerto Ricans, but we're thinking were those Spaniards and the Aborigines of America, or some type of French people that were here that lost most of all their power supposedly at some point in time to other nations. So again, okay, this is just the way that we're looking at it, just to see if we can get a little bit more of a better observation of what these terms actually mean. So ab just means that it's been taken away, okay? That doesn't mean that you can't get it back and then become that. I feel like that's the closest one to use. Let's see if we can look up Indian. Okay, so let's see. Oh, this has a lot to do with some Dutch. Okay, well, let's just read. Okay, Amarind, 1899, coined Maj John Wesley. Okay, I did something on him. Anglo-Indian. So these would have been earlier terms. If this one was 1899, 1814, pertaining to the English. Okay. So let's see, inhabitant of India. Okay, Indian, adjective, noun, I guess. Inhabitant of India, okay, or South Asia, pertaining to India in the 1300s. Now, this goes way back now, so that might be something to go ahead and look at. But then we would have to look at when they say, oh, Columbus thought he was going to, I believe it was India. Maybe it was another one. You guys know how it is. That's why you need to do your own research. Okay, so it's just slipping my mind right now. Or South Asia pertaining to India. Again, where would India have been in the 1300s? What do the maps look like, if they're any that old, still available at that time? Was it where it is now? All the time? Or maybe it wasn't. Okay? From late Indiana's from India applied to the Aboriginal, okay, native inhabitants. Okay, so the Aboriginal native inhabitants of the Americas. okay, from at least 1553. Okay, as a noun, 1610, as an adjective, reflecting Spanish and Portuguese use on mistaken notion that America was the eastern end of. Now, was this a mistaken notion or was that what it was? Don't know. It was also used occasionally in the 18th, 19th centuries of the inhabitants of the Philippines. Now, you know they have a Negro land or something like it in the Philippines or in that area. We'll just say that. And indigenous people of Australia. And then now remember in the 1800s, that's when those people got their name. So where did those people really come from? They kind of look like the Maori, but not people of, not today, but prior to them, that, okay? In New Zealand. And again, I think there was another image. No, it was Amsterdam. Um, I'll show you after this. So let's see. Mistaken notion that America was whatever, inhabitants of okay, the Old English adjective indeed or Indish was common in 1600. A red Indian to distinguish the Native American from the inhabitants of India. So again, are those the inhabitants of India that are now in America that now you have to use red to distinguish the Native American from the inhabitants of India, which maybe it was India. This was a form of India, or a part of this land could have been prior to or closer to the 1300s. Just the way that everything has been brought to us is just garbage. And you have to just use discernment and wisdom and guidance and knowledge in order to see in law and dictionary and the Bible and all of these things. So let's see, it first attested in 1831. Okay, Carlisle, but was not commonly used in North America. So they were using this, I guess, about the people somewhere else. I don't know. Wicked Words writes that Indian is unusual among the ethnic terms for not having much pejorative value and comparatively recently. A few phrases, most of them U.S. impunged honesty or intelligence, such as Indian gift. So, not sure. Hence, Indian giver, one who gives a gift and then asks for it back. Also compared to, okay, so that's all we really needed to see. So, oh, let's look at this term. I like this one too. Engine, 1812, even though 1812 would have been later on after a lot of things had already occurred, but it says from 1683 as engine. And then that reminds me of gin from the Dark Crystal. Again, if you haven't seen it, I suggest you watch it. The new one that came out. All you 80s babies, y'all know y'all want to watch it if you haven't. A spelling representing the early American English colloquial pronunciation of Indian. So that was the early, so honest engine, trustful, first recorded in 1861. So, okay. Again, I just wanted to show you guys a couple of things, and I want to thank you guys for stopping by. I did want to show you one more image, and then I will definitely really let you go. Yeah, so this one, and this image is of, oh, it's not going to get big like that. Let's see about this one. Nope. Okay, so, yeah. I want to thank you guys for stopping by again, and I will definitely see you guys soon. Take care.